there, this is Ryan Nickel with another day in the life of a bootstrap real estate investor. Not all days are glamorous, and not all days are exciting, and not all days are luxurious. Today, collected some money, paid rent, the 5th. So we had, what's up, Walter? So we had a lot of our tenants pay, and then on the ones that don't pay, we follow up with a phone call or a text message and find out where they're at. And oh my gosh, the stories they tell you are crazy. I'm like emotionally drained right now. I'm walking through all this filth, this garbage, you know, hearing these stories of like why they haven't paid. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like, how do you make this stuff up? And like every month it's something, you know, it's something different. Like it's it's crazy. I mean, so let me tell you. So here's two stories right here. So one chick, she's like, "Hey man, my boyfriend, he chased me around the house with a bat, and yeah, tell me about it, Ashley. It is rough. He like chased me around the house with a bat, so I had to call the cops on him, and he had a felony warrant arrest out for his arrest, and so they took him to jail, and I'm leaving town and all this stuff. And she told me this like last week. I'm like, fine, just make sure you pay me by the 5th. If I don't get paid, I'm gonna put a 3-day pay or quit, or 5-day. I don't even know what the law is here in California. It's either 3 or 5. I don't know. I know in Georgia and South Carolina it's 3 days. But anyway, so I just straight up told her, and so then I get this call from her today. She's panicking because she's over at the coast with her kids, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, my friend, he fell off the cliff. It's 3, awesome, thanks, I appreciate that. So 3-day pay or quit." She's like, "Oh, he fell off the cliff. They had a life flight him out of here. I have no Wi-Fi. I'm in the hospital with him right now at his bedside." And I'm like, "What the hell?" I'm like, well, hey, you know what? When you get home, there's a 3-day pay. I'm glad it's 3 because that's what I put on her door. I'm like, when you get home, there's a 3-day pay or quit notice on your door, and you technically have 3 days. So she's like, well, I'll be home on Saturday, and I'll Walmart to Walmart you the money and all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this. And so that's one story. So the other story is, this is a house that I picked up. This is probate, and they live next door to the sisters whose mom's house it was. So sisters live next door, mom's house is here. Sisters are like, we don't want it, it's going through probate. Ryan, do you want it? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So this is the house that I'm renting out, and this dude goes in there. I've not met him. My wife did all the paperwork and all this stuff when I was gone. I was in Laguna about 2 weeks ago. So anyway, they're supposed to pay today, and I get this story of like, well, like I get a text like on Monday. I got a text from these sisters, and they're like, "Hey, I know it's none of our business, but we can hear everything that's going on over there, and I think someone's going to die." I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "I know it's none of our business, but I think we're going to call the cops because we're scared. People are shouting and yelling, and doors are slamming and all this stuff." And I'm like, "Hey, do what you got to do. I don't care. You know, call the cops, whatever." So the cops come, all this stuff. Anyway. So I called them on it today. I'm like, hey, you know, what's the deal? You're late on rent. The cops got called on you and all of this stuff. He's like, oh, we lost our baby and I didn't know how to deal with it. My wife was having extreme labor pains. And so I drove her up to the hospital that night and we lost our kid. And the crazy thing about it is he said that he lost the kid like 11:30 at night and he drove the Chico and our car overheated. They were on the side of the road. They were stranded and she went into labor and all of this stuff at like 11:30 at night. So he told me his story happened. The cops got called like at 4:30 in the afternoon. So I'm like, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. But pay. And it's like I'm like, I love my people that are doing my rent to owns because they pay. The money's in my account. I never see anything. You know, I never have any drama from them. I'm just like, life's good. You know, they pay because if they don't, they can't stay. Well, I mean, technically with these people too, but I got to like evict them and all this stuff. I don't have a down payment. And I don't have anything to write on. But it drives me crazy just to see this stuff. And it's like emotionally draining. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I done? Is the day over yet? Can I go home yet? I mean, obviously I can go home whenever I want. But I write things out daily. Not every day, but for the most part, I try to do a recap of my day and take the lessons learned. And today I was writing and just reviewing my day, and I do this every day when I'm home, like the last 15 minutes of a day. On my phone I have a little reminder, but I want to just read this to you. Never make promises or threats that you're not willing to follow through on. That's what I wrote today because, I mean, regardless of the stories that I'm hearing from people, someone falling off a cliff, someone losing a baby, and all of this stuff, yeah, I have compassion for these people. They pay $5 a month and are late every month. Yeah, don't you love that? I don't know if I quite understand what that means. Some of your tenants pay $5 a month Oh my gosh. Okay, that's right. You're in low income housing. They pay, they can't even pay fine. But I get you. I bet you they got cable TV, don't they? I bet you these tenants that they can't even pay fine. It's not a priority. Yes, of course they do. They have cable. They have internet. They have cars. They probably have like a 6-pack. Probably wasted every time you see them. Yeah, that's ridiculous. $5 a month and they're late. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. And like, so what I realized though is that I was willing to follow through on my threat. So with the one that is at the cliff, her friend fell off the cliff. Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, apparently that person's not on our live chat because they just called me. So I had to hang up on them. But I mean, obviously, if it's true, okay, yeah, I have compassion for that person. We lost a baby earlier this year. So for this other family that had a miscarriage, I totally get that. I cried my eyes out. My wife was so depressed for the longest time. I mean, losing a kid is tough. We've had 2 miscarriages. I have compassion for that. But here's what I don't have compassion for is for someone saying that they're going to do something and then not do it chronically. The first time, yeah, you know what, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But if they're going to do it multiple times, forget that. So what I did was I told them both. I said, look, you're both going to get 3-day pay or quits. And the one I haven't done in Marysville yet, the one in Oroville I've already done. Because that house had been vacant, so I just knew. Technically, I'm not supposed to do it until 5 o'clock today. But it got done earlier today. So, but anyway, she'll get back from the coast on Saturday. I'll be there. She pays me great. If not, then hey. I've already started the process. And this is why I have to do this, because I've delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and I never started the process until, like, they just strung me along. Like, for example, the family that had the miscarriage, like, oh, you know what? We can't pay. We don't have any money. It's my boss's fault. We lost the baby. The car overheated. All these other stories, all this, like, drama. And they're like, well, tell you what, the house needs a little bit of repairs. We'll do the repairs, and then we'll be out by the 1st. I'm like, yeah, right, you're going to be out by the 1st. Your rent is due today. Pay today or you can't stay. And they don't think I'm serious. This is their first month in our property, so I can tell that this is not their first go around. Unfortunately, it is for me. I've never really landlorded before. I mean, I used to be a property manager, but it was like a boutique little like apartment complex of like 8 individuals. So it was like ridiculous, and it was like a high-end property. So everyone didn't want to get thrown out. Everyone wanted to be there. So it was in Sacramento. So anyway, I digress. So here I am trying to be a professional landlord, and I suck at it. And so I'm following through. I have to follow through because if I wait till the 1st of the month till August, I'm screwed. I not only have I lost this month's rent, but I've lost a whole nother 30 months rent. So anyway, moral of my story is that tenants can be emotionally draining, as Ashley, but follow through on your threats. And that's probably my biggest takeaway and my biggest lesson is that I need to just, follow through on my promises. I have no problem. If I promise something, I do it. I'm a man of my word. But when it comes to threats, and this is across the board as a dad too, I'll threaten my kids. All right, that's it, guys. No more television for the rest of the night. And like 30 minutes later, hey, Dad, can we turn on TV? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, guys. So that's an area definitely that I need to improve upon is if I'm gonna threaten to do something, I actually need to follow through, especially as a landlord. Have to do it. But I am emotionally drained. I would love that. You can coach me anytime on landlording. Let's hook up in our next meetup. You can give me some tips. In fact, you know what I would actually like, Ashley? We have a lot of landlords in our meetup group. A lot of them. I'm sure that they can learn from your experience because I'm sure you have some great stories. If you wouldn't mind, if you're open to it, sometimes you want to go ahead and be our presenter. That'd be totally cool too. But anyway, it is 5:10 and I am emotionally wasted for the night. So I'm going to go be dad and father and spend time with my wife and kids, and you guys should all go do the same as well. Let's talk about this, Ashley, offline. Let's get it set up. Maybe in August we can definitely set that up for you. So I think that'd be a great opportunity for both of us. So anyway, I'm Ryan Nichols signing out for the day. And just remember, you're one deal away from changing the rest of your financial future. I can't tell you that. I mean, as much as this drama happens, I love the fact that I'm able to collect money. I mean, don't get me wrong, I went and deposited a lot of money today in my bank accounts. In fact, I opened up a brand new bank account so I can have tenants in another area of the state start paying me as well. So anyway, love it. Love my life. It's just sometimes you got to get dirty. Got to get your hands dirty in order to make some money. All right, I'll talk to y'all later.